Spaced Out Smurf says salutations from Earth. Aloha folks, this is Gemini Brett, Astrolonaut of More Than Astrology, coming to you live from a tree. This is an incredible, full-handed, five-fingered, big leaf maple in my home away from home, West Seattle's Lincoln Park, and this mossy bit here is the thumb. It's a wonderful place to lay and contemplate and listen to the sounds of the Puget waves behind us. Perhaps the microphone's picking those up. Hopefully not too much of the winds. Today is Tuesday, Mars's Day, August 30th, 2016. It's 3 o'clock p.m. with Sagittarius on the rise and Jupiter in the 9th. The Vision Quest place, aligned to Mercury Retrograde. Okay, so if we're gonna speak astrology, though I'm inclined to do such with computer-generated charts and visuals and all this, let's instead speak about the sacred science while sitting on the earth of a tree and engaging with the earth element, the body, mind. So maybe I should just communicate this to you somatically. But I have brought notes, pencil and paper. Earth, instead of being at home and staying inside and running my charts in the computer and that kind of thing, we're gonna try this out. It's not the first time. It's something I like to do when Mercury does turn it around and take his reverse moonwalk quest through the degrees and constellations of the zodiac, to bring it back a little bit, allow that memory. And before I get into the coming September 1st, 2016 Solar Eclipse and Lunation Cycle and the idea of eclipses in general, let's speak a little bit about Hermes, about Mercury Retrograde, about the messenger, about the magician, for he is the one, she is the one that brought forth the sacred art of the chart, this science we call astrology. Mercury Retrograde. I drove my car here today and it blew up. I'm recording this in a digital camera. We know it's not going to work. This English I'm trying to speak right now is grammatically terrible and incomprehensible. No. Well, perhaps the last. Mercury Retrograde, fear, and scapegoating, I feel, is a practice we need to stop. We are manifesting that business, and in fact, this solar eclipse and this cycle is teaching us more about this practice of co-creating our worldly experience. Astrology, are we just subject to the fates of the gravitational electromagnetic gods of the sky, or is there free will? And is this relationship? Let us be in relationship to Mercury. You've probably heard me say this many times. When Santa comes around, we're taught to leave cookies in a wish list. When Mercury comes around and comes as close to Earth as he gets, which is what Mercury Retrograde is, we give hate mail and scapegoating, and it is not cool, y'all. Let's leave some cookies. Let's give the magician offerings. Bring him some food. Let's bring a wish list to Mercury Claus. Yeah, some intentions, and intentions now of Virgo, yeah? Because Mercury this morning, August 30th, 2016, stationed retrograde in the very last degree of Virgo. Traditionally speaking, Virgo is Mercury's nocturnal, yin, feminine domicile. Does he, she want to stick around in his, her house for some time? I'm gonna continue to call Hermes, though it is Hermes. Him and his and he, because that's typically how the trickster represents to me, all right? Venus, very recently, yesterday, ingressed from Virgo into Libra, heading into one of her homes. And Mercury's like, you know what, lady, you do your house, I'll do mine. I'm backing it up, spending some time in Virgo. For us here in the northern hemisphere, where I am sitting in a tree now, Virgo is the last sign of summer, yeah? So Mercury stationed retrograde just before crossing the autumnal equinox point. We're getting to that place in our seasons. Big leaf maple tree leaves are turning colors and falling. And that's a little rough, and I love that Mercury stationed at this last degree. He's like, eternal summer, I'm going back into the heat, I'm staying high, I'm not ready for the fall, these different kinds of themes. He's conjunct Jupiter today, and especially tomorrow, and people will say that's just gonna blow up the trickster's ill wishes for you during the retrogrades. Okay, play those rules if that's what you want, that's cool. But my feeling is that if we come to Mercury with offering, especially if we sacrifice something to Mercury, and I'm not talking about slitting the throat of some ram, you know, I'm talking about giving him a habit, making room for the messenger to come and speak to us from within. And Mercury in Virgo, an earth sign, all right, this is the body, mind. So understand that as Mercury is bringing us back, bringing us into the memories, helping us see some of the depths and the unknown places, maybe. Some of the stuff that we haven't finished up with or kept in dream world, that perhaps we're going to experience this somatically in the way of the body, yeah? Mercury does this amazing thing where he retrogrades 4 times in a row or sometimes 6, and we are currently in one of the 6 times in the same element, all right? 2015 began Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, then Taurus in May, and now Virgo in September. And then again, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, before he shifts from the earth to the fire. And he'll do that the 2018 retrograde. So Mercury during 2016 and 2017 will spend more time in the earth signs than all of the signs of the other 3 elements combined. Dig that. Mercury, mind, nous, consciousness, coming into earth, the physical, the body, the real, the practical, the stuff that we can see and smell and hear and touch. Our notes on pieces of paper instead of the digital computers. These wonderful trees that will embrace us if we choose to lie on them and to tap into the library of the earth and the wisdom that is sung through her singing birds and danced in the bears and falling leaves and such like this. So Virgo, as Mercury is tuning us in there now, as Jupiter spending his last days of a year in Virgo. He ingressed Virgo in August 2015 and will ingress Libra to spend a year there come September 9th, 2016. The North Node has been in Virgo since November 11th, 2015 and will remain in Virgo till May 9th, 2017, I believe. Yeah, there's been a lot of Virgo, and Mercury comes in here aligning to Venus and Jupiter and Virgo before Venus left Libra, retrograding, spending another alignment with Jupiter in Virgo, one of Mercury's signs. There's a lot of Virgo right now. So these intentions that we should bring to Mercury, intentions of messages we want to receive, bringing him offerings, carving space for him to come in so we can do the authoring once the message is received. Virgo, what is Virgo? Okay, so newspaper astrology is going to say like OCD, super critical, over analytical. Okay, and you can do your Virgo that way if you choose. That's cool. I'm going to go with Virgo as the priestess, as devotion to the sacred work. All right? Keeping the temple tidy and the body, the earth is temple. For me, Virgo is the leaf that reaches for the light of spirit and does the photosynthesis, converting that light into energy that we can use. Virgo, like all of the mutable signs, has a spiritual focus. Virgo is about the seasons, these fallings of the leaves, or down south in your hemisphere, the blooming of the flowers that's about to begin. Yeah? The cycles of heaven and earth. Do you understand how the sky works? Are you connected energetically to the seasons of the day, of the months, of the moon cycle, of the year? Do you know these signs without and especially within? And can they speak to you from your body, mind? Can we relax thought, find stillness, and engage with the experience of our senses? Many will see Virgin, Virgo, which has nothing to do with chastity. That is patriarchal nonsense, okay? But one married to self, one married to spirit, independent, standing strong on our own, which doesn't mean it has to be unmarried. And I would suggest this because the independence training is taking us over the line in our culture's contamination to the point where we don't even know our neighbors anymore and have fears and asking for help and these kinds of things. Go with this instead, undependent. What is it to not need, but still allow that participation with your peers and intimate friends and family and soul family and neighbors and community? And sometimes in this training we feel most alone when we're surrounded by crowds of people, but in that aloneness we can find release from loneliness and return to selfness. We know that we are never alone because we are connected to something higher, and that is found through our practice, through our yoga, through our devotion, whatever it means for you. Perhaps it's the amazing hatha poses of the old traditions. For me, it's talking to planets and sitting in trees and watching how the sky works and listening to the eagles screech and some of the smaller birds sing so beautifully and these kinds of things, and to get straight up spaced out, you know. So that's cool, that's my yoga. And just because I'm looking up to the heavens, you see, I'm doing this with my feet in the soil of our planet Earth, the beautiful planet that we chose for our experience, yeah? And for me, and maybe this is strange, when I look up and I participate with the sky, I feel most grounded. So that's my yoga. And with Mercury retrograde in Virgo, I'm able to tap into some of the older ways that this was done, perhaps by me in past lives, perhaps by the medieval astrologers, the Hellenistic astrologers. Maybe I can get before that, who knows, if I just allow the body to give me these messages, to allow the wonder that comes alive, to not doubt what I'm shown, and allow that to inform the way that I astrologize. My yoga increases. And when I spend time with my tea or in my meditations, yeah, that's really going to come alive right now. So I'll do a little bit less time on the computer during a retrograde. Typically though, right now I'm building video courses of astronomy for astrologers, and yet see, that's in service to my yoga. So I'm not so worried about that, but making sure I spend time to get out of the office and under the sky, always crucial. And to tell you the truth, sometime I forget. So this is a time to Virgo, your sacred work, your devotion, your practice, whatever that means for you. Mercury station retrograde this morning, August 30th, 2016, will reach Cazimi, between us and the sun, the middle of Mercury's retrograde, September 12th. In the heart of it, in the throne room of the king, receiving the new message that he will bring for us through the overmind, the higher metamind, tuned to the ways of Virgo for the 4 months ahead until he next does his loop, his retrograde dance in the sign of Capricorn. And then we'll move into that earth, which is the trunk of the tree and the roots, the beautiful organic structure. Yeah, and then one in Taurus, the fruit and the flower, the pollination. More on that later, but let's tune further into Virgo. One more thing I will say about Mercury is that September 28th is the time when he is at his height in the morning sky. Bright, young, fun, rising before the sun. By then I will shave my beard, for this is the end of Mercury's cycle, and in the morning he is the fresh-faced babe. So coming into that way and being born again into a new mind, this is one of the gifts of Mercury's transition, having spent 4 months tuned to Taurus, where he was last Cazimi on May 9th, 2016, and now on September 12th, having that wisdom composted into rich soil to plant the new seeds, which will be Virgo. And though he will make his way during the course of these 4 Virgo overmind months through a season's worth of signs before he next moonwalks in the sign of Capricorn, we are tuned to the Virgo overmind. And Mercury does Virgo in a beautiful way. So listen to the twitching of the finger and the flutter of the hairs on the back of your neck, and however your body wants to speak to you and through you. Yeah. from you, for you, all of these things. Mercury is helping us really tune into the Virgo essence now, which is also health and medicine, especially when we're speaking about the plants, which is also alchemy. And understand that the alchemist did this not only in the air and the fire alone, not only in thought and spirit, but had a very physical practice with the minerals and the plants of earth, with the water, a combination of all of the elements. And Mercury talks to us about this in his emerald tablets, The sun is its father, the moon its mother, the wind hath carried it in its belly, the earth is its nurse. So enough for Mercury retrograde now. A lot of my recent videos have been about rewriting our relationship to the retrograde periods and coming consciously into participating through this idea of offerings and sacrifice and intentions. And trust me when I say that if you are willing to carve some space by giving Mercury a habit for these weeks, ending September 29th for this particular cycle, a message will be received. A message that serves your intentions, especially if they are keyed to these Virgo themes. And especially if you do not expect to receive the messenger's wisdoms through word alone, or don't expect to see them in any way, and understand that with Virgo it's very likely to show up in the plants, in the animals, in your body, in your real experience, the earth, the stuff that we can knock on. Is it real? Is it reality? One or the other? Both? Neither? Who's to say? Mercury retrograde. Dig in, have fun, make love. All right. It's worth our time to call in Mercury because the old ways tell us that Virgo is his domicile, and here we are in a eclipse cauldron, moving into Virgo solar eclipse.